Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. And I made a promise last video, and I am with my promise. I'm gonna bear it this time. So, no worries with that. So, today's topic is about our thoughts and how negatively they can actually impact us if they are not aligned with our current self and not aligned with the way that we live. So, first of all, your thoughts can be very detrimental for you if they do not actually align with your current reality. And the problematic thing about these thoughts is that even though there is currently nothing wrong with your life and you're happy and you're fulfilled with how you're living your life, with your purpose, the relationships that you have with the people around you, these bad thoughts can still pop up without a sense of reality or without any sense of proof that something will go wrong. And it can get to a point that these thoughts start to actually be affecting you physically as well. Like you're constantly feeling this gut feeling and this stomach ache that these bad thoughts cause you to have. And it's not a pleasant feeling to have. And I have been feeling like this recently, quite a lot actually. Even though I have no sense of bad things happening to me or no sense of problems in my life, and I'm fulfilled with everything that I am going through right now, these bad thoughts just continue to pop up and get me in a state where I'm kind of stressed, I'm kind of anxious, and it takes away from the quality of my life and it causes me to perform less in my day to day tasks because I'm constantly in my head thinking about these bad thoughts and they really don't have any sense of reality. It's just they constantly pop up and sometimes you're not really able to control them. The way that we think in our daily lives is actually it has a lot of spontaneity in it. The way that you think is very spontaneous. I mean, you cannot really control how you think most of the times. The thoughts will always pop up like a background noise without you being able to control them. And the secret to actually not suffer from these thoughts is to be able to acknowledge them and not get stuck in them, just thinking constantly in our heads about these thoughts. If you can learn how to acknowledge these thoughts without actually giving them the fuel that they need, which is your attention, is I think the way of actually getting rid of them. Because our thoughts, yes, they come to us, but if we do not give them the attention that they want, most of the times they do not really bother me. I mean, at least that works for me, to not really get attached to those thoughts. Yes, we should acknowledge them. We should know about their presence and they are there and they have came there for a reason. But being attached to them and constantly thinking about them and giving them the fuel that they actually want is not really helpful. So how can we learn to actually acknowledge the thoughts and being able to sit with their discomfort without actually giving our attention to them? I always mention about these two ways, but they are the things that have been helpful for me, at least, and things that I could do only by myself without needing any external people or external factors, only depending on myself. So, first of all, the first one is meditation. Basically, this allows you to capture yourself in the present moment and not really get stuck with the thoughts that come to your mind spontaneously. And that's actually the whole point of doing the thing. Knowing that these thoughts come to your mind, but not actually getting attached to them and losing ourselves over them. Because most of the times, thoughts do not represent our reality. They are most of the times not real. And most of the times, they are like background noise that come and go and come and go. And being able to detach from these thoughts and just let them be there. Do not try to push away them, because if you try to push them away, this means that you're giving them attention, and this will actually worsen the scenario. If you try to push them away, it will lead to more thinking and it will get you into a loop of like these thoughts coming and you're trying to push them away and they come back. So pushing them away is not the way to get rid of them. Just acknowledging that, oh, I have this negative thought, or I have this negative feeling, oh, I feel like I'm going to lose this person even though I have no real reason to believe this, or I'm going to fail my exams, or I'm not going to succeed in life even though I have no real reason, no real evidence, even though I'm doing all my work, all my discipline stuff. I still have these thoughts, and you should just be able to acknowledge them and just let them go. And the practice of meditation is basically that, in a short explanation. Just being able to sit with those thoughts, acknowledging that they are there, but not actually attaching to these thoughts and losing yourself over them. So meditation is the first thing. It's actually a very uncomfortable thing to do most of the times, because facing these thoughts is not a very pleasant thing to do. To actually even acknowledging them is still kind of painful to do, because you're kind of giving them some validation, but at the same time you're not accepting that they are real. So it's kind of painful at the first sight, but it gets better. And you, after certain periods, after doing some meditation and after getting used to this, you are more able to sit with these thoughts without actually getting attached to them. Because the main problem is not the thought coming to your mind. The main problem is that you get attached to these thoughts. That's the main problem, not the thoughts coming into your mind. And the second way is journaling. This is again kind of uncomfortable thing to do, at least for me, in situations where I face thoughts that I don't want to feel. In those type of situations, it's actually kind of painful to face them and to acknowledge them, but that's most of the times what you need to do to actually get detached from them and to actually let them go. So having these thoughts, yes, they will come, they will be there, and you need to acknowledge their presence. But the thing that you should mainly focus on is to not get attached and not get lost over these thoughts. Because we should understand that most of the times these do not reflect reality, they are only illusions created by our minds. And the reason that our minds do this is it can range from a lot of things. It can be some kind of very old defense mechanism that has been developed in our brain in order to learn new things and to actually protect ourselves from pain. But like I said, to acknowledging these thoughts and not getting attached to them is the way of actually finding a peace of mind from these thoughts and actually getting away from them. And what I also notice is that these thoughts most of the time come more often when I'm in a busy and when I'm in a more stressful period in my life. Like at the times where my studies are getting more complicated. I mean, the exams are getting closer, the work is more loaded, let's say, or I'm kind of suffering mentally currently because of working a lot but not being able to spend too much time for the things that I actually enjoy doing. And at these times, I notice these thoughts to come more. So what I'm trying to say is, if you can find some time to do the things that you actually enjoy, but not the habits that are not healthy. I'm not talking about playing a video game, or I'm not talking about masturbation, or I'm not talking about indulging in those instant gratification activities. I'm talking about the activities that you actually enjoy and that are genuinely good for your mental state and your overall well-being, basically. So these can be meeting with your friends, these can be going out and grabbing a cup of coffee, these can be walking your dog, working out. Try to make more time for these activities in these periods where you feel like you're suffering mentally. That's another thing that you can do, which is very effective. And the last and one of the most important things that I can suggest in order to do, in order to get a peace of mind from your thoughts, is to accept that you're not gonna feel good in all periods of your life. In certain times, your mental health will suffer more. At certain times, you will feel less like yourself. At certain times, you will feel more depressed. Just accepting this basic fact can actually help you to manage through the situation, because bad times will always be here. No matter what you achieve, what you do in life, there will be some times where you will suffer mentally. And being able to acknowledge this and accept this and move on with this is again a good way to actually look at these bad situations from a more healthier perspective. So yeah, thoughts can be really frustrating sometimes, but we can learn to actually manage them. This is possible. I've seen this is possible, and we can be more peaceful with our lives. We can be in a better relationship with our thoughts. This is possible. So don't get negative over this. Don't lose your mind over this. It's gonna get better with time and with the things that I mentioned. If you can do them more and more, things will get better, man. Things will get better. See you on the next one.